Starburns Audio.
Thank you for listening to the Starburns Audio Podcast Network. We have so many great comedy shows to add to your playlist. Just last week on Starburns Audio, on the Season 2 premiere of Humans Who Make Games, Adam Conover talks to comedian Ron Funches and Jean Goudon, creative director of the Assassin's Creed series. On Boogie Monster, Kyle Kinane and Dave Stone share a perfect recipe for the quarantined cook. This week on Profiles and Eccentricity, they cover the history of the Coruscant Unity cult, folks for whom a flat earth is ridiculous because they believe it's really a concave shell. Search Starburns Audio on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or any podcast platform for our full list of shows, featuring hosts like Joe Coy, Amanda Seales, Jessica Chobot, and Jackie Johnson. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Starburns Audio. Enjoy the show. Stay safe, stay healthy, and keep laughing.
It's a good show.
Dan and Ren and Jay will share tales of folks so unaware they lack in grace and sometimes choose the life they choose will make the news. Breaking down each epic fail in Florida, there's half-price bail. I'm happy to say they couldn't make this up. So listen to our podcast jam with co-hosts Arm and Dan. Benders, don't be a jerk, cause when the music hits, the funny hits, and we are gonna take you down. Stick around. Make a sound, hunker down, it's Dumb People Town.
Hey, Townies, welcome to another episode of Dumb People Town.
Dumb People Town.
It's a good echo.
Population U.
Population Homes.
We're Mama, we're coming homes.
That's it.
Pete Holmes, our very, very good friend who we've known and loved for a long time. It's a shame that he is quitting comedy after this show tonight. He is announcing his retirement.
Things just didn't work out for him. I will say that every time I drive by a billboard for your show, I get happy. I get excited.
You guys, ground floor supporters.
From the beginning, from performing with you at Comics in New York.
That makes me sound like a jerk if I go, you were on the ground floor.
We came
What do I
in.
think I am?
I don't think so.
Tide?
Yeah, no.
You were there, but way before the pouches that people were eating.
By the way, a friend of ours, a really funny, a friend of mine, Kirk Butler, phenomenal writer, tremendous writer. I was at a Super Bowl party with him, and he said, how cool would it be if Tide did a Don't Eat the Tide Pods commercial during the Super Bowl? Like, they had an awareness about themselves. Like, they made a funny, hey, don't eat the Tide Pods commercial. I feel like if that happened, I'm like, I'm Tide all the way.
Yeah,
or just
that's
fill
so
the
funny.
Tide Pods with edible stuff. You know, like we
Every
do.
third Tide Pod is ranch.
Ranch! You got to find out which one.
Why were people eating them?
Because
it supposedly got you high. It got you high.
Kids
Oh, it got
are
you high.
Did it get you high? Because
Yes,
people
it
are
did not get
stupid.
you high. It got you dead.
Well, I love that you asked that question,
Did it
Pete.
kill you?
No,
It
but
could.
by the way,
this is relevant.
This is so
relevant
relevant
to the show.
This is so relevant, and we'll get to your wonderful HBO show Crashing and all your wonderful things that you're doing
That's
later.
what it's called, crashing.
Come on, Dan Van Kirk.
You have a computer. You could have Googled it quietly.
I know, but I wanted it to come to me, old school.
There we go. That's kind of so. No, but you talk about eating Tide Pods. That's just stupid behavior. And this show is called Dumb People Town, and we believe Jason and I and Dan, the three of us, have this idea that the world is getting dumber.
Dumber.
Or dumber's getting louder.
Or dumb and smart are fighting and dumb's stronger.
Right.
Winning.
Right.
It's got like dumb strength.
Yeah.
Strength.
Like
is
if it were a Jean-Claude Van Damme fight, like Smart just had sand thrown in its eyes, and Smart is like, what? And Dumb's like, yeah, come on.
Dumb takes a roundhouse kick to the face.
Hopefully, we're waiting for that part.
Well, so we have our wonderful dumb townies, and they're not dumb; they're actually very smart. But our townies, who are part of Dumb People Town, send us the stories in. Dan gets them. We have not heard them, and we're going to jump into one right away because we have one of my favorite things to do is riff with Pete Holmes, and he is here. And let's go do this.
Let's do it. This was sent in by Chris Frayne.
Is
and then
this
a whole bunch
Chris
of
Frayne
emoticons.
you?
At Len_Cicada. Two N's in
So Len Cicada was, you talk about my mustache looking and you'll see the
Baseball
picture,
player.
like an old baseball player. Len Cicada played, I believe, he was like, I want to say a catcher, but he played with the Mets in the early 80s.
I called him Len Cicada.
Cicada?
When the cicadas come,
Yeah.
and they make
cicadas
those
come every-
noises,
You can hear them hitting small baseballs.
tiny baseballs in the trees.
Tiny foul balls happening.
It's funny. Can you do the sound? Like, we'd all know it if we heard it. Oh my God!
Thank you, Pete.
I thought for
Look
sure
at
I was
it
going to
now.
be like, this is one of those things. You
It's-
only
you
know
can't
it
do
if you hear it.
You know, but every
But you
17
guys
years.
did it!
I mean, that to me, for some reason, felt like home. You know, like that's a summer in St. Louis,
killed it.
Missouri.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you hear that? The next thing you hear is when ice kind of melts a little bit in the pitcher of lemonade.
Oh, yeah.
And so it kind of stirs itself. There's like a softening.
Yeah.
What a specific idea.
Right, the cube hits the side glass of the pitcher.
The condensation rolls down.
Yes.
The sun catches it just for a perfect moment.
It's so cinematic. All right,
Yeah.
cicada.
My kids, by the way, are into doing lemonade stands all the time now, and
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't do it that often.
Yeah, because
it's
the lemonade
essentially
stand-
begging my neighbors for money.
It's
Yeah.
shaking down the people that you know for money.
Well, you have to restrict the market.
Yeah.
You need to teach them. I thought
Hold
you
it
guys
out.
knew
Yes, it's all about
business.
business.
I quit economics. I quit economics to become a
Hey.
comedian.
Tell them, like diamonds, diamonds are not rare or valuable. You withhold the
Yes,
lemonade,
that's right,
then
yes.
you flood the market, then you withhold, then you
flood,
flood, then
then
you
you
withhold. De Beers.
That's right.
I'm going to read you guys the headline to this, and then we'll get into it because the headline's perfect.
Let's hear it.
Sword-carrying man stripped of blade and attacked with own weapon.
So,
He's his own problem.
He brought the issue.
but isn't this the fear of having a weapon in your own house? I'm sure.
Oh, sure.
Do you have a bat in your house, or do you have a knife in your house? What do you have in case
We
of
have
intrusion?
well, I'm going to tell you.
Tell us.
We have a taser that shoots like a gun.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Good,
Taser.
good.
All right. so
I
you-
saw it in the first Batman, and I was like, I want one of those. And it turns out you can just buy one online.
Yeah.
Look
Is
at
your
that.
hope,
if you
Pete,
give them cash.
that you have to shoot somebody someday, and as they writhe on the ground, they ask you where you got that. Where did you get those?
toys?
No, that's it. Where did you get those?
guns?
Wonderful toys.
I said toys.
No, it was Batman
looked it up.
Begins. Batman
Yeah.
Begins.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I couldn't start that movie for some reason.
I couldn't shoot. Have you ever shot a gun?
No.
Yes.
Oh, yes,
Yes,
we
we
have.
have. We have.
Why-
Shotgun.
the first time I shot a gun at a range, I was like, never could I couldn't point that at a squirrel.
We shot one of those
Skeet shooting
Like
in
a shotgun?
Colorado,
Like a pump action air gun.
rifle, and just like
Did
one
you go
shot.
flying?
I didn't.
It went back into my shoulder, and I was super
definitely
sore.
you went back a little bit, but it was fun to kind of shoot clay pigeons and stuff. I mean,
You shot at targets?
well,
Yeah.
what was fun, and they were like launched in the air. When you hit one, you felt good.
Yep.
Launch, pull.
Not just shooting cicadas, man.
I am not. I couldn't shoot somebody for breaking into my house.
I don't think I could
You
either.
I think when
They were
you
coming after my family, though.
Yeah,
I don't know. That's,
Well, do your dads get guns? Do you guys have guns?
I have
No,
a baseball bat. When we went and performed
But
at the
it's
univer-
loaded.
the
baseball bat is loaded. The
Safety's on.
And we're back to my Madeline mustache. No, but did you ever perform at the Louisville Improv ever? There,
I've been to Louisville,
Okay, so Louisville Improv,
but not the Improv.
There's the Louisville Slugger Museum, which is one of my favorite museums in the country, and they show you how they make the bats for all the players and stuff. You can go downstairs in the basement, and they have cages, and you can swing with the bat, like Derek Jeter's bat, right? And so you play catch with your dad. It's wonderful. So they gave us a bat as like a nice little gift.
They did,
Yeah.
and you're going to use it to bludgeon your foes.
Yes.
It's right in my opening, so if anybody tries to
Well,
break
the
into my
bat,
house-
though, bringing it back to the story, the bat is someone's taking that bat.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The
Yeah.
gun, at least, maybe you have a chance.
But
even if you sting.
so
This
that's
guy
what
went
happened.
sword.
He had a sword.
Sword.
The headline's a little confusing because it's a man with a sword.
Sword-carrying man.
Sword carrying man. He's only carrying the sword for the beginning.
That's
Yeah.
right.
One sword carrying man.
Stripped of blade, which makes it sound like some sort of like military ceremony.
yes.
Stripped of
Unless
blade.
he was holding Blade, like a DVD of the movie Blade.
Yeah, stripped of blade
Well, wait till you.
And
they're
the
gonna
third
get
line
deeper.
is what?
And attacked with own weapon.
and attacked with a
The
weapon.
headline should be man attacked with his own sword.
Yeah, you're right.
Man attacked with own sword.
I think they had a word count they were trying to find.
We got to
victim.
get people reading.
The victim, who police say was cut by a samurai sword wielding man in Boulder, I believe, in Colorado, was injured with his own weapon. And previously, the guy who owned the sword, he had been arrested. This is what I love. While practicing with the blade outside a hotel last month. He's doing a demo out in front of a goddamn
Why do I
cozy
imagine that
rest?
he's married? Honey, I'm just going to go practice my sword, the samurai sword stuff. Don't go by the hotel. Do not go by the hotel.
They don't want you in front of the Ritz-Carlton.
It's a free country.
The guy checking in, he's like, breakfast is from 6 to 9. What's your policy on recreational activities?
Like, what do you mean exactly? Like, we have like a shuffleboard as well as like games. We have games.
I brought my own.
If I brought my own.
If you brought your own
game, like your own
Sir,
board
do you
game?
want me to take this sword up to your room? Or
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna
hang on to it?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Just take the bags up, though. I'm gonna be out front because it's sunset.
Okay.
And this is the best time to swing my blade.
The reservation's under Highlander.
That's right. It should be only one.
That's perfect. Pete Holmes.
Pete Holmes on fire.
F on the get-go.
Cody, spot.
He doesn't want 2 queen meds. It should be only one.
And not a king.
Cody Scott Parker faces a first-degree assault charge, and a woman in his company. Which means somebody's like, I am not his girlfriend.
That's when we broke up.
Right.
Unless he's the CEO of a small company and she works in like accounting.
Sure.
Like, she definitely, as the cops were questioning her, used the phrase, not anymore.
Anita Urban, that's the woman who's with Cody Scott Parker.
To me, sounds
CSP.
like a character.
Anita Urban.
Yeah.
That's when the cop goes, look, you don't have to tell me your name, but don't give me a fake name.
Right.
No, to me, that is like a drag queen.
Anita Urban.
Who's like a black woman.
Yeah, of course. Nobody was picturing a Korean woman. When they went, ladies and gentlemen, Anita Urban.
No, but it's like the worst. It's the worst drag. No, it's Anita Urban, who is a black woman who dresses like Keith Urban.
Yeah.
But when you look at Keith Urban, he himself looks like a woman, so it just looks like
He's
they're doing a
beautiful.
bad
He's
job
beautiful.
doing drag.
Right.
He's
I
gorgeous.
would also offer, it sounds like Tom Selleck goes undercover as a black woman.
Yeah.
Or he goes through some sort of process
Sure.
that was out of his control.
Yeah.
And he looks at himself and he's like, oh no, I can't blow my cover. And someone goes, what's your name? And he goes, Anita. And they're like, what's your last name? And he said, Urban.
Racist.
Is it?
I don't know.
Urban. In our world, urban means black. Urban
Yeah.
comedy
Yeah.
night is
Yeah.
black.
That's true.
comedy
Urban,
night.
yes.
Anita Urban, she faces a conspiracy charge after police say Parker, that's Cody Scott, CSP.
CSP.
Police say Parker cut Christopher DeSalle on his hand. According to the arrest affidavit, DeSalle told police he was walking on the 1400 block of Canyon Boulevard around 3:30 p.m. Wednesday.
3:30 in the p.m.
Yeah.
3:30 in the p.m.
When
so,
shit goes down.
so a lot of alcohol is
The witching
involved.
hour.
Can we just say, without you even reading
Oh,
the rest,
yes.
we know what happened. This Cody,
Yep, CSP. Cody
CSP
Scott
is
Parker.
not swooshing and swiping at this man. He's kind of like goading. I
Yeah.
bet it's a goad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the guy is
Tries to
taking it
grab
with
it.
his hand.
Yeah, and he
going
just-
like, get this out of my, like calling his bluff. And then he pulled back.
And sliced him on the hand.
Sliced
You are
on the hand.
you are on point for
Yeah,
dumb people, Tom.
Pete just knows. That is so good.
I know my people.
DeSalle, Christopher DeSalle, was walking on the 1400 block around 3:30 p.m. Wednesday with his katana-style sword strapped to his back, the way officers had instructed him to carry the blade legally after his arrest in January.
Wow.
So they were like, you can keep you have to carry it on your back.
But I can't strap it to my shell?
No.
But what if I wear this bandana?
No.
Whoa, check out this move.
No, that's
He's out of arguments
Right,
and he just says, check out
But
this
the moves are fine. You can do the moves.
the move is
Easy.
great. The
Right.
move is actually great, but you have to put it on your.
Easy,
I
Mike.
want ice cream on my pizza.
That's up to you. You're an adult.
I was taught how to use it by a rat.
Easy,
Great.
Michelangelo.
That's great. But
Easy.
just put it on your back. And why is he breathing so hard?
It's really breathing.
No, that was the blade going through the air.
And then in the background, you hear.
In that case, DeSalle,
How are bugs doing that? I can barely do that.
the wings. In that case, DeSalle.
Rub their legs together.
DeSalle is facing a charge of carrying a concealed weapon. That's when they taught him how to carry his sword properly. Plus, he was also carrying knives at the time. So I'm going to show you a picture of Christopher DeSalle.
Definitely boot knives.
There he is.
Yeah. By the way, and he has a look on his face like, "Excuse me."
Right.
Here's the thing.
Where is this, by the way?
Boulder,
This is
Colorado,
Boulder,
I believe.
Colorado.
Because I was walking down the street right here in Los Angeles and saw a guy who had the trench coat and the sword-like blade coming out of the middle of his trench. And I was like, "Do you call the cops?"
Yeah.
You
Some of
just
those are
walk in there
umbrellas.
with
No.
Are they really?
Yes. They're
like
made
a
to
sword,
look like swords.
samurai
they're
sword, but it's really an umbrella.
Yes.
And what better place to use an umbrella than in Los Angeles?
I agree.
Yesterday.
Cody Scott Parker, here's your winner, guys.
Oh no!
So it looks
I
like
crossed the street if that guy's walking
they both
towards me.
look like different people who've waited on me at a Verizon store.
That dude's never gonna walk towards you. He's gonna like stalk towards
Yeah,
you.
That's right.
He's
It
gonna
is
move.
too
like
he's
a
gonna take
shadow.
exactly like too long of a step.
So Cody Scott
stride.
Parker is not holding the samurai sword.
No, Desau. It's Chris
Desau is.
Desau's Parker. Chris
Desau.
Desau told police he felt someone tugging on the sword and turned around to find Parker had pulled it away from him. He's not good with his own sword.
Yeah,
Somebody
that's right.
tugging on your sword.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Desau said Parker told him, "You got my mute for the kids. You got my fucking old lady jumped," and then said, "I'll fucking kill you." This is what Cody Scott Parker told.
Okay.
Now, I'm not in favor of this, but
Oh wait, you got her jumped. Like you're scaring my girl.
I guess I
Like,
don't
he was
know.
like, "Pardon me, sir. Your blade is frightening my lady, and I will disarm you." That's
I think
what he
they
was
have
saying.
some sort of previous incident between the two of
She
them.
definitely, again, in the fray said, "I'm not that old." Like she's trying to kind of wait a minute.
She's gonna come out on top in this one. Anita Urban.
According to the
She'll be
affidavit, Christopher Desau said that Cody Scott Parker then stepped towards him and hit him with the sword in the upper thigh, but the blade only caught on his clothing.
Yeah.
Not a good blade.
Not a good
sounds
blade,
right.
and not a good swing, by the way. Not a great swing.
Right.
But had it been a great swing, would we be making fun of this story right now?
No, because he'd have no leg below the knee.
Yeah, also, yeah, that's true. But he brought a sword to his own sword
fight.
victimization.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So kind of part of me is like, live by the public sword. Die by the public sword. Desau said he kept stepping back, but Parker followed him. Parker then raised the sword, and here we go, Pete Holmes. Christopher Desau tried to catch it,
Yeah,
according to the
dog.
affidavit, resulting in a large
You gotta
gash.
clap it. You
You
gotta
can't,
clap
you
it.
can't one-hand it.
Don't
you gotta
one-hand
clap it.
Clap it.
Clap it.
Clap it and then turn away, like rotate with the
Yes,
clap to the
yes.
side. That's how you want to go.
Or you know what? Cut your losses
Right.
and run.
And run.
Be like, you now have the sword.
This is your sword.
This is strangely how I got it.
Pass it on to someone else. It's like a chain
relay
letter.
race.
Or a chain letter.
Christopher
a terrible chain letter.
Desau told police that Parker started running after he cut Desau's hand. Parker
Right.
started running and met up with a woman later identified as Anita Urban, who told Parker, "Baby, take the bike, get out of here." To which Parker replied, "Baby, it's not a bike, it's a chopper."
I love how
Get
much
out of
they're
here.
I just love that both those statements made it into a news article.
Oh, she keeps going.
Where's Zev?
ready?
Zev's hand is cut, baby. Zev's hand is
It's
cut.
Zev's hand is
Listen to
red.
this. This is what Anita told him. "Baby, take the bike, get out of here. You did what I told you to do." So she is the
She is?
mastermind of
She
all.
is on top.
Oh,
Do what I told you to do.
Anita Applebaum.
Oh, you got to put me on, Anita Urban.
Urban.
Anita
Anita Urban.
Bomb. You got to put me on.
Anita Urban reportedly had gotten into an argument a few weeks ago with Christopher Desau's fiance that resulted in police being called. Christopher Desau told officers that Anita Urban made up a story that got his fiance cited. I have no clue what that means.
So this now goes deeper. So these people know each other.
There's a TV
Right.
show called NBA Wives. There should be a TV show called Samurai Wives.
Samurai Wives.
And these guys
I believe
should be
that's
in
how
it.
Westworld ended.
Yeah. Don't tell me. I haven't seen it yet.
Come on.
I gotta watch less TV.
That riff has a mild spoiler in it. Not really. It's not a spoiler to you.
Yeah. I
To
won't see
people
it.
who are in the know.
People who are
And if you already know, then you know.
Then you know.
people who are 3 episodes away, you're in trouble.
We're going to get out of here on
If
this.
you're 3 episodes away from the end of Westworld right now, you deserve to be spoiled. Yeah.
Right?
Am I right?
I agree.
Yeah, you've gone too long. Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Because believe it or not, we have video
No.
of Christopher Desau and Cody Scott Parker going at it.
No.
There it is.
Oh my God. Whoa, he grabbed it. Oh, he ripped it away from him.
Wow.
Look at these two. I'm going to post this up on the Facebook page.
This is crazy.
What did you get to the car yet? Where the car's like, I am out of here.
Car backing up.
There's a car that's just like,
Oh my God!
Yeah.
That's a Nissan commercial.
Yeah, that is.
Nissan.
Get
when
out of-
shit gets real, just peel out.
Just peel out.
This is, I didn't even have to see it. Like I knew.
You knew what it
This
was.
is kind
Exactly
of like
what
a
it was.
category of like homeless fight.
Yes,
you
it
know
was
when
a
you see
bum
like
fight.
slow motion homeless fights.
Yes.
Yeah,
where
there's
you like
definitely-
things are bad, but it's not that bad. Anytime like if someone
This-
takes out nunchucks and they're like, I'm gonna fuck you up, nobody's gonna die.
Nobody's gonna die, but like they were all wearing gloves. So it's the winter time and it's in Colorado. They're wearing gloves. So he grabbed the thing with a glove on. So he thought, all right, I'm gonna be fine. These
Yeah.
gloves will. No, they don't.
Nope.
Okay.
Not blade proof.
Nope.
I'm going to ask you guys right now.
They're now fingerless
This
gloves.
is the final
Yeah.
thing.
It's what Andrew Dice Clay is wearing on stage.
26,
funny story. I was in Boulder.
26,
It's not a story, nor is it funny.
38, 26, 38, 35. Tell me whose age is who.
Okay.
Oh, I thought those were Anita's measurements.
All right, Pete Holmes, you
I'll
are a
give you a
guest. So you can go
samurai
first,
sword.
Tig, or third.
Tig is in the middle of me and Jason.
You can tell me Cody Scott Parker, Christopher DeSalle, Anita Urban. Who is 26? Who is 38? Who is 35? You can go first, second,
Okay.
or third.
I want to go first.
Okay.
Okay, yes.
The woman is 26. Don't tell me till the end.
I won't. No, they've got a guess too.
Okay. The woman is 26.
Okay.
The guy who got his hand cut is
That's
the oldest.
DeSalle. Okay.
And the second oldest is the guy with the sword.
35.
Okay.
All right, so
Okay.
DeSau's 38, and then he's the guy's 35. All right.
Yep.
I think the woman's 38. She's the mastermind of this whole
Okay.
younger man. I think
Anita!
She's in her
I think-
sexual prime.
I think DeSau is the guy who got his hand cut is 35,
Okay.
and I think the other guy is 20.
Cody Scott Parker.
Cody Scott Parker is 26.
Oh
yeah.
my
Okay.
God.
Yeah, because I think
practically a teenage
Right,
mutant ninja
shit.
turtle.
Literally. So
Millennial Mutant.
she's robbing the cradle of sorts.
I just want to stay in my shell and smoke.
No, dude. I just got to get on Tinder for one more minute. She is 36.
Okay.
Her old
But
man.
There's no 36. You mean 35?
35.
Okay.
Her old man is 38.
Cody Scott Parker.
Cody Scott Parker, and agree with Randy that young Verizon store.
Well, no, I disagree. You think
He said Christopher
I
DeSalle
think
is
Christopher
35.
DeSau is 35. I
So
think
you're
she's-
saying Cody Scott Parker is 26?
Yes.
okay,
Cody Scott Parker's 26.
Okay.
and DeSau is
Is 38.
38. Okay,
Okay.
and,
And
she's
the woman's 35.
Okay.
Okay, and you said the woman was the youngest.
Yeah, she's
okay.
the
So now
baby.
we have three
I
different.
know we
things.
do.
Oh my god!
All
I
right,
can't
here we
wait.
go. Ready?
Okay, yeah.
When it comes to the sword-wielding man who had his sword taken from
This is
him.
very exciting. We've made meaning.
Okay, so now, and everybody, this is the best part, Pete, is that everyone at home who is listening to this
Or
or
in
wherever
their
they are in
car.
their
They're in
office
it.
in their car,
Screaming
they're
at their
logging their
phone.
guesses. They're yelling at whatever device they're listening to it on. Let's hear it. This is-
Christopher DeSalle is
you ready?
35 years old.
Oh!
Christopher
You're
DeSalle is
right.
the one who got
Cody
his hand
Scott
cut.
Parker.
I was right.
Cody Scott Parker, 26. Anita Urban is 38.
Wow.
My
Randy.
God,
Randy, you
Anita.
nailed it.
Oh, my
Because
God.
I was like, this woman, she first of all, she kept on calling her new boyfriend baby, which like he is 10 years younger than her. He is essentially a baby.
Right.
And then
baby.
she said, "You did what I told you to
You
do."
did what I told you to do.
Yeah, she's got mastermind.
She's she's organizing this whole thing. I kind of love it.
38-year-old woman.
That's story one, guys.
This
Love
could
it.
be like the new. I mean, I know Tarantino's in the news now for forcing Uma Thurman to like crash into a tree, but
He
like
is?
this could. Yeah, did you haven't seen that?
No.
Heard that thing? Oh my God, this is all this terrible
We'll tell you that
video.
in the break.
Yeah, we'll tell you the break. But I mean, maybe this is Kill Bill Part 3 and Part 4. Could this
Yeah,
be
this
it?
could
Like
be it.
she's the one who's causing these like
Could
knife
be.
fights to happen.
Anita Urban is a name of a character in a Tarantino film, though, correct?
Yeah,
I mean,
it
doesn't
totally
that feel
seems
like
like
that
one.
could be?
Played by Lucy Liu.
Yes.
All right, guys. Story one down. Pete Holmes, the great Pete Holmes, is with us. There's more Dumb People Town right on the other side of this here break.
DPT.
Hey guys, welcome back to the show. We got Pete Holmes. If you have not listened to You Made It Weird, I'm going to make you do that right now. Subscribe to that podcast. It is wonderful. It's fascinating.
Yeah, if you want to cry on a plane, just listen to the June Diane Raphael episode and let it all out.
Oh, yeah.
That happened to me flying to, I think, Madison.
Oh, my God. One of
Pete,
the few, we call that a hand holder, where I'm holding the guest's
Well, no, the
hand.
best Pete is, the best Pete is, there's a point in that episode where you go, I don't know if I should touch you or not. Like you were like, then you did like hold her hand. It was so
You
good.
know what?
Because you don't know what to do.
I know.
We
You
don't
wanna
live
give-
in a hanky culture anymore. Like you can hand people hankies, you light cigarettes.
We don't
you
live
hold
in a
hands.
hanky
You have to be
culture.
like, can I hold your hand?
That's what I love about you, Pete. You
Jumped right to hankies.
Well, no, but the way you turn a phrase. We were on stage at your show at Largo, or
Radio.
we were standing backstage listening to you, and you were talking about Tom Selleck, being on a plane with Tom Selleck.
Yeah.
And I think you were saying, like, this is something we did, or I forgot what the
This
phrase.
is something that happened in a room with air.
Which is just we looked at Dave Rath and we were like, "That's genius."
That's the
I love
funniest
that phrase.
ever. Like the three of us, and then we all kind of had a moment of being that's so funny, and then we waited for a second, and then we all busted out laughing. But it was so fun
I
to
like
watch you
reminding
work.
people that it was in reality.
In
Yes, but
reality.
that's
It
a great way
happened
to
in
say
a
it.
room with air in it.
They're
We
just
were
like-
alive.
That was the thing that let everybody know this is really.
We were breathing.
That was your pinch me moment.
Yeah.
Well, I don't listen to a ton of other podcasts. Sometimes it's hard for me to.
Sure. What do I work for you?
Right.
You know what I mean?
But
Hey, a new Savage Lovecast is up. What do I work for you?
Exactly. But but I listen to your.
Savage Lovecast.
I know, me too. But I listen to your podcast as a means of escape of lots of things.
Well,
You know
that's
what
so
I
I
mean?
listen to you on 1.5 speed.
You do.
Yes, and you are
can
very
handle it.
quick. You're
You can
very
handle it.
I can handle it.
Wow.
I can't handle
But
a
it
long
helps
one.
me get through the episode because your episodes are a little
Yeah, they're
longer.
long.
But it like
People like the long, but yeah,
I love the long.
people love the long.
But I'm telling you, 1.5 speed is kind of amazing because I'm
One
like,
and a half sounds like somebody you're grabbing a blade and then they pull it away.
it sounds like you guys all did cocaine and then did the show.
And then did the show. We're like, we're getting into this. We're getting into this.
I'm gonna try that.
It is a
fun.
great thing. Obviously, watch the HBO show Crashing.
So good.
I have one crashing question for you. and-
HBO's Crashers sitting here with Pat Helms.
Yes.
Pat Helms.
times-
We understand Crashers is on Showtime.
So you guys just crash parties, right? It's like wedding crashers. But no.
You guys are crashing it. No, but the want to ask because it is so close to you and for you to be around current people who are doing what they're doing, but then have to jump back as a comedian
Yeah.
to a time in your early development.
Yeah.
Is there like a moment on
super
stage where you're
surreal.
like, it's got to be so surreal? And there's a moment on stage where like, okay, I know what I need to do to make
Oh
this
my
crowd laugh. And
God.
really, you got to kind of play it to a different. I don't think people realize how difficult that is
Well, that's
because
very
you,
sweet
in
of
your
you.
brain, you're here.
You want to do it. You want to hit the baseball, and you have to. And
You have to show. You have to take
You
a.
have to show how many times you swung and missed
Yeah.
on the way to being able
There's
to
a
hit
lot of bombing, and what's funny is your body and your brain have no idea it's pretend.
Right.
Because there's 300 extras there, and you're like, oh. And like, we don't even tell them to not laugh. I just kind of do badly.
Yeah.
It's easy to do badly, but it hurts
It
so
is, but
much.
no, because your whole thing of so we went and did that show with you at Largo, and there is
Yeah.
nothing in your body or brain saying I want to go up there and do badly.
Yeah.
All you want to do is like give people the experience that they can have and have them walk out lighter than
People-
air. You know,
And you're up there and you're doing badly, and it's your show, and they know it's your show. And even though I think they know it's in the script that my character is supposed to do badly, they look at you differently.
They do.
Man, you really
You've
couldn't-
lost them.
You've lost them.
I'll put it this way: like my character is so low status. Like Joy Behar was one of the guests, and she was wonderful. But like she rightly could sense that like I wasn't in charge because I was just like this meek. Like, thanks for doing the show. I think she thought I was a PA or something. She
Yeah.
didn't even really turn
Tommy
to me.
Need.
Tommy Need. That's a Tommy Need.
Tommy Davidson, when we opened up for him in Anchorage, Alaska, and he showed up 10 minutes after we got off stage, so there
Yeah.
was just a 10-minute break that the audience didn't
We
anticipate.
looked so low status that his manager came over to us.
We said we'd like to meet Tommy. He's like, yeah, listen, Tommy need more ham on the ham plate.
We were so low. His manager manager thought we were the students at the University of Alaska who brought Tommy there.
Toothpick in his
Tommy's
mouth.
gonna need
More ham on the ham plate.
I know we already have a ham plate, but we're gonna need more ham
on the ham plate. And I was like, who's that for? Is that for Tommy or is that for you?
Because you have a ham plate feel. If I'm being honest, you feel ham plate to me.
Even though you are wearing an African-style hat that
You look like Jim Brown, the running back from the Hall of Fame.
now activist, someone who probably
From the Dirty Dozen.
like a Muslim who wouldn't eat meat.
yeah, you look like you might not fuck with swine. I'm all ham on the ham plate.
But the idea that like you have, I don't think people understand how difficult that is.
It was
to play
really,
the
really
lower
painful.
status in this show, which you do so beautifully. I mean,
And then like Bill Burr would go up and kill.
Right, and
I'd be like, no, it really brought me back.
right, it brings you back.
We want to make a show about how hard it is to start in stand-up, and I get a lot of feedback from comics that are like, "Oh, you're doing it properly."
Agreed.
Because there's been a lot. I thank you. There are a lot of shows about stand-ups, but no show about like what it's like to start. So my character is always, I joke, it's called crashing, not flourishing.
Yeah.
As soon as he starts flourishing, it turns into a different show. It becomes more like Entourage, you know.
Well,
which I don't know if you know anyone that was on that.
We know a couple of people. No,
Super fun show, but different show. This is about the struggle.
And whenever anybody comes up to you who's like a new comic or somebody who wants to do comedy and says, "What do I need to do what you're doing?" I immediately say, "You need 10 years."
Yeah.
Do you
I
have
know.
10 years in your
And
life
that's
that
what
you're
we
willing
wanna
to
make the show
invest?
about.
That's exactly
we want to
what
make the
it's
show
doing.
about the 10 years. Most shows start at the end of those 10 years.
You want to show the way up and the mistakes that people make and the tiny bit of success you know, I don't want to give anything away, but like you help
And
write
even
it.
the success and how your friends hate you for it and then
Hate you
dealing
for it.
with that.
Dealing with that, or even like getting to hang out with Bill Burr
Yeah.
as your character in the thing, what that means when you
Totally.
get invited into the circle of someone
And
that
even
you
telling my friend Henry Zabrowski, who's on the show, that I'm
Yeah.
hanging out with Bill Burr and how mad he is that I'm hanging out with Bill Burr. That is what it feels like to start in stand-up. Is like, Dimitri Martin talked to you?
Well, so
What?
we-
I have
so-
to remind myself that all the time. Like, I reminded myself when I met you guys, obviously I still revere you, but I was like, holy shit!
I mean,
Ring the bell! And I'm not saying I've demoted you. I've gotten used to having
we
show
become
business friends.
We become
And
friends
we're
in that way. So
and most of our friends have done things, but when you're young and you meet you guys, huge deal. Still a huge
it's so nice.
Love, love.
Love you too. And well, so can I just say this? We were in New York for one day to shoot Dr. Oz, who was on your show. It was
Mehmet?
fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah. Dr. Oz. And we did just for this poop documentary of which you are amazing in, which it's already out. When this episode drops, it's out. We want you guys to see. It's called Poop Talk. But we were there. It drops. So we were there in New York and we flew in and landed at 11:30. Got in our car, went to the hotel, and we were like, let's go down to the cellar. Let's just go down to the cellar. I don't know if maybe we can get on stage. I have no idea, but let's just go down. We go down. It winds up that we couldn't get on stage because Godfrey was just ending at that moment, and
Right.
it actually would not have been great for us to get up at that point
Right,
after the show
sure.
was over. But who's standing up? Is standing outside, upstairs, like just
In the stairwell
in the
above.
stairwell right above the stairs that go down to the cellar. But Dave Attell, now Attell for us for years and years and years, someone that and still someone we look up to and love so much in that same way, revere. And we just sat around and shot the shit with him and made each other laugh and hung out. And even though we didn't go up and do a set that night, and we've worked with him.
You were still
and
in comedy.
We were in comedy.
You were in show business that night,
We
baby.
had a moment of hanging out at the cellar with
Right.
Attell, and to me, I was like, that's why we came down here.
That's right. And that's what my character's trying to do. I would do that with no credits, no respect whatsoever. And that's what we're trying to show on the show.
But
Was
you
that-
do it. You're doing it. I'm saying it's
that.
like it's a fucking high wire act,
Yeah.
and you're doing it on the show.
Can I tell you that a lot of people, when I'm in New York, come up to me, and by a lot I mean 3, there were
Yeah,
like 2 or 3,
yeah.
would come up to me and be like, I'm homeless. I moved here because of crashing.
You're like, no.
That is
I
not,
just-
that's not on me.
That's
on
on
and
you.
your
That
fam-
is on you.
That's on you and your family structure.
Did you have a moment where you're like, how are you getting your HBO?
Yeah, that is
HBO
hilarious.
Go or what's
Yeah, it's a crazy
Are
question.
you watching on HBO Go find an apartment?
Go home.
Yeah, go back home.
You need to HBO go home. But that is what I would tell them is and I'm actually happy to get that out there. While I feel for my people and the urgency that we all want to, like, I got to get to the city, I got to start doing stand-up now. The premise of our show is funny because it's a terrible idea. Don't move to New York and be homeless.
Yeah, do you tell those people like, hey, just I was in Chicago for a good chunk of time before I came here and then started over again.
And then
And had
all
an apartment.
no
Yeah.
credits transferred. I had to come here and do, but except
Yeah.
that you had the body of work that you have done, so you walk with like a suitcase full of jokes and you
Totally.
kind of come in.
But it's good to start in a city where there isn't a lot of showbiz.
Fail in the darkness.
We didn't do that.
we didn't do that.
We started in New
we
York.
kind of did. We started
And
in
you
St.
can
Louis.
feel
and we
it in
did.
your act.
I know.
No, I'm kidding. It's good to be anonymous for a while.
Totally.
I agree. Let's jump into another story
There we go.
because then I want to talk about the poop duck later with the great
Poop duck.
Sent in
Poop
by
duck.
Kimberly Thompson at Kimatron722.
Kimatron.
A Scottish farmer frantically called police to report a tiger in his cowshed, sparking an armed police standoff.
A tiger in my
Life of
cowshed
Pi?
feels like, right?
Life
That's like
of
a
Pi.
Dr.
Is this a parable? Yeah. Is this about faith?
It's like,
Or it feels like Dr. Phil, like what Dr. Phil would tell
Yeah.
a couple.
You got
yourself a tiger in the chicken shed. And until you learn to love you and the person in the mirror, you and your grandma aren't going to be able to talk to one
Wait
another.
a minute. What? Philip, what did you just But by the way, it's not the life of Pi. It is an Irishman. It is the life of Shepherd.
That's like a
Shepherd's
bottle of-
Pie.
Shepherd's pie! Shepherd's pie! Shepherd's pie! That is so good.
The life of Shepherd's Pie.
That was like
At
finding
Sklar
out.
Brothers.
I don't know that something's a dessert. I was gonna say finding out a gold coin is a chocolate gold coin, but it sounded anti-Semitic.
It's fine.
That's like finding out these potato pancakes have been fried.
Yes.
Or that they're actually good.
And they are very good.
So a Scottish farmer called
big
cops
fry.
to report a tiger in his cowshed, sparking an armed police standoff, only to learn it was a large stuffed animal.
Wow.
And I don't know if you remember the part where I said a police standoff.
Stand up.
Bruce, this is also
Tiger's not moving. What are we doing here?
Well, he's going to
He
move.
is
Just stay where you
tracking
are,
us.
right?
He is staring
Look at
me
his
down.
focus.
And the thing is, and you know somebody who claimed to be a tiger expert is like, the thing is you have to be worried about them when they don't move.
Yeah.
That's the point at which they're
That's
going
right
to come
before
at
they
us.
attack, Dave.
The last thing you see.
Randy, that is your part in this movie. And you're wearing that hat and you have that mustache.
I'm like,
and
just-
you have those earphones because you've been
Everybody-
listening to them.
This is a stakeout.
And then someone's like, the last thing you see before he attacks you is his tag coming out of his leg.
F.A. Oh my God, Schwartz. That doesn't work. F.A. Oh my God.
FAO shit.
F.A. shit.
The name of this farmer, it's so perfect for dumb people town, Bruce Grubb.
Bruce Grubb.
Bruce Grubb was throwing a housewarming party when he left his guests and girlfriend while he popped to the shed to check on his 200 pregnant cows.
Gonna make sure there's no tiger in the shed.
All you do this every night. Well, the time it's there, Karen.
Then who's going to be laughing? You know,
Also-
he was at a party. He went out to the shed to fart. Am I right? That's
He's
literally
gonna
what
cut
it
him
is.
with the ladies who don't mind.
200 pregnant cows. They're all pregnant at the same time?
Yeah. Well, they have.
Tis the
They
season.
have to be. To
Quote-
milk.
What was James Franco in there?
Quote.
I love James Franco.
I love James Franco.
But
Quote.
I mean, I don't love what he did to women.
Quote.
You guys were in a
We
fun
qualified
pickle there.
so hard.
Like, we love him, but you know, we don't. It's an important time to listen, but we love him.
love him,
Great movie, but you know.
But I don't support.
Yeah, we get it.
Oh, hi, Mark. Quote, I was on duty because the cows could drop at any time, so I wasn't drinking. I flashed my torch. Coolest name for a flashlight?
Yeah.
I flashed my torch in the shed and saw it sitting there. I was stone cold sober. Drink had nothing to do with me thinking it was real. Now, I feel a bit silly for calling police, but I thought it was a real emergency. He told the Scottish Sun, I had absolutely no doubt it was real. I got a hell of a scare.
All right, how many tigers are running around the Irish countryside?
Scottish.
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 Same thing.
Scottish.
Because the number's big difference.
I'm sorry.
My
It's Scottish.
favorite mug at my in-laws' house taught me that there are no tigers in Africa, only India.
That's true.
So
That's true.
you can't even see them in Africa. It would be
Right.
silly if this man were in the,
Bruce
the
ran
Sudan.
back to
If
the
he was in the
cottage.
Sudan, yeah.
Sudan.
Bruce ran back to the cottage and called police, and he claims the first officer on the scene was just as convinced as he was that the tiger was real.
He was drunk.
He
This
was
is what
bad.
I
The
love.
officer was drunk. The officer was wasted.
wait for it.
Wait for it.
The frightened farmer said the first officer to respond on the scene was so scared.
By the way,
that,
the frightened
quote,
farmer to me sounds like the Scottish farm-to-table restaurant that's like
Yes.
only has 3 tables
Would
in
you
it.
like the shaky eggs? Would you like the trembling meatloaf?
The frightened farmer said the first
I'd
officer
like a quivering quiche.
to respond to the scene was so scared that, quote, he refused to get out of his squad car or even wind the windows down. He didn't want to go anywhere near it because he thought it was... So imagine the
He's
cop...
in a car.
And the cop, he's like, officer, could you get out and help me with this?
No.
Sir, I can't.
What do I look like?
A cop.
Well, but
Right.
a safe cop,
You
a living cop.
You responded to the call.
Sir, do not get in the way of police protocol.
He has a horn. A horn would
Yeah.
remedy the situation.
A horn would absolutely
Get in there with
a
lights
siren.
and sound, and that tiger's like, truce.
That's it.
Right.
Truce.
Or nothing, and because it will do
Yeah,
nothing.
it will do nothing because it's nothing.
Photographs of the said tiger were sent to the control room, and an expert sergeant confirmed it was definitely real. So now a guy back at the police station looked at a photo somebody took on their phone and was
That's
like,
real.
"That's
Do we
a
have
real cop."
is there a tiger
That's a real
guy
tiger.
back at the office? Get
we
him
have
on
an
there and
expert
check
sergeant.
his... Yeah.
I put it in that app that tells you what painting it looks like, and it was a painting of a tiger.
Okay, good.
So that's 100% match.
Yep.
Move.
And the guy does that little two-finger come along with me. And, then,
And it was the
hands
one
up.
day the officer with the fingerless gloves and the sniper rifle and the backwards hat took off.
Yeah.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Today! I'm on fucking dice! I'm on fucking dice! You're shitting me right now! You're fucking shitting me! And I fucking knew it too! I fucking knew it!
Of course, he's visiting Scotland.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
from
Wales.
Ireland.
He knew it. He knew
Wales is better.
Wales is better.
That's just
I
great.
defer.
That's just fucking great.
Yeah, we can talk like this. And, the frightened farmer says he wouldn't get out of his car. Photographs were sent to the expert sergeant, which I love. Cue numerous units, including 3 armed response teams and a dog handler, being sent to the farm to tackle a beast. In my mind, no one has told the party any of this is happening.
Of course
Exactly.
not. Of course
They're
not.
all raging and out by the barn.
yes.
You just say, I'm blue. I'm OD. I'm OD.
I still love it.
faintly in the background you hear, I get knocked down.
We're so on brand.
I am the tiger.
I don't
Of
know.
all times.
Of all times to play that song.
Northeast police even checked a local wildfire park to see if they had an escaped tiger on the loose. After armed cops engaged in a long standoff, they realized the police.
Yeah, that standoff ends when you stop.
Yeah, exactly. Right?
They
We can end this
realized-
now. We can do it the hard way or the easy way. Easy way is us just leaving. End of standoff.
You have a lot to live for. Think of the treats. No one here wants to see you be a rug today, okay? Let's call your cubs. What are they, cubs?
I'm telling you, he's not moving because he is ready to kill.
That's what they do.
I'm telling you, that's when you want to worry. It's when they're not moving. It's so funny. I wanted to say it again.
yes.
I know.
I knew it wasn't new.
But
That is such. That's the riff
intent,
of this
that's
whole
it. I'll
story.
take it.
After the cops engaged in a standoff, they realized the supposedly terrifying beast was just a big plush toy. I'm going to ask you guys now. Pete, first, Tig or third, how long was the standoff that the cops had with
This is so
the
good.
tiger?
It's raining man. He's been gone. Grub's been long gone for a while.
Yeah, that's
where's
Bruce.
Grub?
He likes it up there.
Brace.
I love these flashing blue and red lights you guys have.
The cicadas. The cicadas.
Cicadas came. Cicadas.
You know the cicadas.
I'm gonna say the standoff. I can say any number.
Yeah.
Any
It's
number
open.
of minutes.
I'm gonna
Hours.
say it was 3 hours.
Whoa. 3 hours.
That's too long. I think it was 45 minutes.
45 minutes. Okay.
I'm going to say an hour and a half.
An
90
hour and a half.
minutes
Oh, he went in
standoff.
between.
Because I
Are
feel
you
like
Oreo cream over there? Because you in between.
Yes, I am. I'm the
We're
double-
we're double.
Is that Anita Urban?
Are you Oreo cream? Anita Urban.
You
calm
did
down.
just what I told you to,
did.
baby.
I shouldn't be fucking with this woman.
No.
We love you, Anita.
Anita, you pull all the strings.
Well, today was already a special episode because we're having so much fun, but it even got a little more specialer.
Because someone got it on the
Because
nose.
one of you three is exactly
It
right.
may be. By the way, this is a small Scottish town.
Could be any
It
one of
could
us.
be Pete.
Could be
3
Pete.
hours is not a long time to them.
No.
They don't have Keurigs.
Now we're gonna have a
They're
new.
boiling water and grinding beans.
I'm adding a new wrinkle to this game when somebody gets it exactly right. Pete, who do you think is exactly right?
I love this sort of stuff
This
because
is so great.
mathematically, I was probably wrong because
Yes.
I went first.
Were
so it's
you,
probably
though?
one of
But you don't know. You don't know. Who do you think was right?
If I say myself,
No, it's okay.
I'm the king.
No, you are the king if you're
If I say myself and it is me,
you're the king.
I'm the king.
You win
That's a
this
drop
episode.
the mic
You
moment.
win
It's
this episode.
it's I become King Ralph
You
specifically.
win. Mhm.
I'm
You
eating
win.
ham off the bone.
Yeah.
I
How many
think
more ham on his ham bone?
I think it was I think it was Randy. It was an hour and a half.
Okay, all right, Jason Sklar.
I think it was Randy too.
Okay, Randy.
I think it was Pete. And that's me. I really think it was him. I think 3 hours.
Okay,
is-
everybody playing along at home, get your answers in now. How long was the standoff between the toy tiger and the cops and Bruce Scrub? The standoff lasted 45 minutes.
None of us believed in Jason.
Oh, it's raining man. Hallelujah.
I'm telling for that's
So
how
this
little
was
confidence
just
I had in
I was
myself.
gonna say this is an exercise in how the three of us don't believe in Jason.
Yeah, that's true.
including Jason
You
himself.
got to know that we don't trust you.
we don't trust
fine.
your
I
decision
agree with
making.
that.
You know, it
I
just
was
seemed
right
a
on.
little too prudent.
Yeah, it seemed a
I
little.
thought it was going to be
well,
like wacky.
I usually guess way over in these moments.
I know
Like, I
you
think I
do.
had 12 hours on some other crazy thing that didn't happen, so I
Well,
went.
you know who cracked the case? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I went
Okay.
low on this one and that, and suddenly I'm right.
Jay, you went low, and everybody else went.
when
high.
I go low, they go high.
The person who cracked the case, Bruce Scrub. He says, as time went on, it wasn't moving. I started to think it wasn't real. I got in my truck and drove right up to it with my truck, and that's when I knew it was a toy. Which means all the cops were like, hey,
God.
man, if you want to go figure this out,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Hey, we're just trained officers in gear with weapons, but if you and your
Now-
truck want to go take
Now,
on a tiger.
I know Pete Holmes. If Pete were Bruce Scrub, Pete would have come out with the tiger on top of him like it was
Yes!
mauling him. Like, oh my God! And then he would realize very quickly that he made a mistake when they started to shoot at him.
Yeah.
Here's
I
what
thought you were going
love.
to say put it over my shoulders. Like,
That's what I pictured.
like
too.
Jesus with a lamb.
Guys,
just gotta come
guys,
out.
he's friendly.
I have tamed him and I'm your god now. No follow-up questions.
Go on up to the party, guys.
It's raining, man. I am glad that the only way that could be better is if they shot it and like a puff of comical like cotton filling came out.
Motherfucker didn't even move.
That's when you got to worry is when you shoot it and it doesn't
Doesn't
even
move.
This thing is like unbelievable. It's like a super tiger.
But honking and lights would have solved
I know.
this. And they let Grub do it
They said at one point, this wasn't in here, but I read it there. At one point, they swore that they
let-
saw its ears flickering, like it's moving its ears.
They
Like,
let
no, you guys
Grub
are
do it
wow.
himself.
It's unclear how the toy got in the shed. This is my favorite part. They determined that there was no harm done. The false call was made with genuine good intent, said the police officers. And my favorite thing, we'll get out of here on this. The cops even asked an embarrassed Bruce Grubb before sending him back to his party if they could keep the stuffed tiger as a mascot.
And what did Bruce? And Bruce Grubb said no.
No,
No, they took
you
it.
keep it as long as this story doesn't get out to the world.
certainly not with my name, Bruce Grub.
Farmer from Scotland, the frightened farmer. That should be his new thing, and that should be on his crest, the frightened farmer. All right, that's it. Story 2 down in the books. Pete Holmes with us.
We got one more little story left.
Dan,
Tease it.
tease us. What are we going to be catching on the other side of the break?
We have a cereal fight.
Okay,
Cereal fight.
Cereal fight. That's either
Cereal fight?
Are
It's
they
either a
fighting
fight
over
that
the
happens all the
podcast?
time, or an
Fight over
actual
the
fight with
podcast?
cereal.
A fight over the podcast cereal. That would be fantastic.
Finally lucky it had it. Those are my lucky charms.
We don't know. Maybe you got to stay with us. Stay with us, Pete Holmes, right after the break.
Hey there, Adam Conover here. Humans Who Make Games is my podcast where I sit down with the people who created some of your favorite video games and have the kind of long-form personal conversation we so rarely get to hear. We talk about how they got into the industry, what their favorite games were growing up, and what it's like working in the trenches of this century's greatest new art form. This season, we've got a whole batch of new interviews for you. I talked to Kim Swift from Portal, Alex Preston from Hyperlight Drifter, Anna McGill from Control, and Alex Beecham from the game Outer Wilds. Whether you love video games or you just love learning more about other artists' creative process, I can guarantee you're going to love this podcast. So, you can get Season 2 of Humans Who Make Games wherever you get your podcasts. Take a listen.
All right, welcome back to Dumb People Town. Daniel Van Kirk, follow him. He's a great follow on Twitter. Follow Peter Holmes on Twitter at Pete Holmes.
Drop that R.
Pete, I think of you all the time. I think you even tweeted this once. And you said something like, I get an anxiety. It pains me to death to watch someone put their phone in their pocket unlocked.
Yes.
Yeah, you did that. You said that to me the other day.
Randy did it like he'll put his phone in his pocket with his...
I feel the same level of anxiety as I see a baby carrier on the roof of an SUV.
You're
but more could go wrong.
That's right. More
With
could
your
go
phone.
wrong.
With your
You're
phone.
about to Postmates 3 bags of mulch.
Randy goes, I told Randy, I was
Lock
like,
it!
I go, your phone is unlocked in your pocket. And Randy's like, oh, you afraid I might call somebody? I go, anything could happen.
You could order.
I actually think you have pocket dialed me.
I probably have pocket dialed you.
Yeah.
I'm sure I have.
There's a lock feature, and it feels good to lock.
You're
it.
absolutely
Very
right.
good.
If you have the sound on, it goes.
It feels
awesome.
good.
I love it.
You know what else feels good? Our new movie about poop, which is in theaters right now. It's called Poop Talk. And Pete Holmes.
Can I tell you?
You are so good in this movie. First of all, thank you for when we called you, not saying I don't want to be friends with you again, but saying I absolutely will do this, making time for us. And then delivering what I consider to be, as we were cutting this movie and putting it together, again, this is so perfectly you. And everyone showed up in great ways. Like, Cordry was the most Cordry he could be.
Right.
And you were the most you could be. Kumail was the most Kumail you could be.
Non-Johnny.
Jamie Lee, the most Jamie Lee she could be. Everybody really rose to the surface in such a great. Swartzen was hilarious.
We were a bunch of floaters.
Yes. Literally.
You gave like a philosophy to, and we're talking about the philosophy of comedians and how we are alpha male, alpha men and women.
Yeah.
However, alpha because we reveal all the inner sort of vulnerabilities that we have.
Yeah.
It's just fascinating stuff. So fans of yours will absolutely love you in this movie.
I appreciate it. And it's called?
It's called Poop Talk. It's available. It's in theaters in 10 cities right now, and I think we made ads for all those where it's going to be, but it's in LA and New York and Cleveland and Atlanta and Detroit.
This is your chance.
All the shit cities.
Yes, all the shit cities. I think Trump called them shitholes.
Yeah.
Look, this is your chance. You already support independent art by listening to podcasts, so you're that kind of person already. This is your chance to support independent.
If half the people who listen to this podcast went out and saw this movie or got it on video on demand, or you can get it on iTunes or Amazon.
Is that what VOD stands for?
VOD?
Just
You have a computer in your pocket.
And it's unlocked.
It's unlocked. Pete Holmes. So anyway, I'm making my plea because you're here and you were so
Yes.
good, and I hope you had fun doing it.
I had a great time doing it. That's like the last shoot I did in my house. Then I was like, no more, because you guys were great and you were minimal. Have you ever agreed to a shoot in your house and you show up and there's craft service on your lawn?
You're like, wait.
You're like, whoops.
Whoops.
too much.
So I was happy to do it. I actually have a bit about that now. It's about how like 90% of male behavior is to get an erection later. Like we're trying to big ourselves up that we're like, I'm that kind of guy.
Yeah.
I was like, we don't want to listen to Kid Rock and wear wraparound Oakleys. We're trying to get momentum going.
Yeah.
Because it's vulnerable.
Yeah.
And I won't do the whole bit, but there's a part where I'm like, we know you like foreplay, but he's here.
Yeah.
The dick is here now.
The dick is here.
And we have to sheath it.
Yeah.
Otherwise he might leave.
Yes.
Like it's so fragile. It's like strong weak. And I talk about how like I've lost my erection because the dog came in and looked at me funny.
Yeah.
And I was like, so we're not doing it because we're assholes. We're doing it because we're cowards.
It's a fear of it leaving, a
And
fear
then
of the loss.
And then the big turn at the end is very much in line with Poop Talk. As I go, even this bit, me doing this bit is to get an erection later.
Yeah.
And then I'm fucking there and I go, remember how vulnerable I was? Remember how I shared my insecurities with strangers?
Look at how huge I am now.
We are. I want to put this line in it as go. When a guy pays for your dinner, don't feel bad. Feel bad for him. Like he's
That's
a
something
coward.
he needs.
He needs to
needs
do it
that.
because he's like, I bought the dinner.
It's a brick in the wall.
And then the blood will flow to my ding-a-ling.
That's the way it
we
goes.
are shells of people.
And we need so many things to be in
Yes.
place.
And the older you get, the more things can fuck it up and ruin it.
Totally, of course.
So you can't have this
It's
thing.
like
and-
a song could come on that makes me think of my father. I can't handle Mike and the Mechanics right now.
No.
Say it loud.
I went to a different song. I went, how
I'm
long can
impressed.
this be going?
But
And that
wha-
was actually Ace, but same
The
singer.
part of the joke that I'm not comfortable doing because I don't want to represent women, but I feel like women are strong and they pretend to be weak. That's what high heels are. They're like, I can't flee. Click, 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 click. I'm just a deer.
Yeah.
I'm a wounded deer.
But have you ever worn high heels for anything? I wore it in a movie once, and it is
have
like
to when I
you
was a
have to be
kid.
the strongest person in the world just to wear them.
That's what I'm saying. So they are obviously super strong. They birth life, and they're, they flow. They're intuitive. They have all this beautiful wisdom and strength, but they pretend because it's cultural to be like,
I need your help.
I fell and Dracula's after me. And man, we're in the shit too because we're complex people.
Yes.
We have feelings and we have up days and down days,
Yeah.
but we get it steam cleaned out, and we're just supposed to be, like you said, Tom Selleck. When I saw Tom Selleck, I was like, fuck, that's what I'm
dude.
supposed to be.
That's the dude I need to be.
Smelled like leather and pipe smoke.
That's right.
But that's not who I am. I'm the guy that buys dinner because I'm like, for my wee-wee.
Yeah.
I straight up tell Val, I go, when we were dating, I was like, please, I
need to
I need
pay
this.
for this.
I'm doing this because I need to feel like a big shot because my anatomy needs me to spin plates and be like, big shot, big shot,
That's right.
big shot.
That's the
I
payoff.
wish I was strong enough to let a woman pay for dinner for me and still get a big old rubbery
it should
boner.
never be, and it is
I
always
can, but it's not as easy when you're dating.
It should never be like a championship run in the NCAA tournament for like a 10th seed. The idea being that like you need everything to go right, and all the you can't be shooting a low percentage. You've got to make sure that you're
Like the blue chip teams can have bad nights and still win.
Right.
When you're
right.
like us, you need everything happening. Dan is, of course, in the other camp.
And
Dan
that-
just can't help but get it around.
Well, there are fellas that are of different grit than
Yes.
me,
And they-
for sure.
and they
but
make
I
it.
manufacture my grit by admitting my weakness.
Yep,
Some
that's
guys need, in order to get the erection, need to get into a cereal fight, and I brought it back to this.
You did, but I will
That
say one
is
last
funny
thing.
as-
If Pete will get an erection watching this movie because he's super vulnerable. He lays it out there, and
Yeah,
you
Pete,
guys will
watch this movie. You'll love this.
We did a Batman sketch. I think this is so funny. I did these Batman videos, and one of them was about sex, and it's a line that no one ever quotes. I'm not even sure it's in there, but Batman says to Talia al Ghul, his love interest in the movie, he goes, "Sometimes the sexiest thing a woman can do is forgive." And that joke is everything I stand for.
Yeah.
I'm like, that is
That's-
comedy
that's everything.
to me, because the number of times I've lost my boner and Val's been like, it's okay, and then I immediately have a boner. We are cowards.
That's it. But, like-
she just goes, it's fine, and I'm like, I'm back.
Hey, we're
look who
back in
woke
the
up.
game, guys.
It's a little, and that sounds like a good, like we usually think women play games like that. Men do too, or we have needs that are emotional like that, where it's like, you love me even if I fail?
Yeah.
You do? Ring-a-ding-ding! I'm
like,
humping the air.
You literally are like Don Amici and the other old guy in Coming to America. Like she just gave, like Eddie Murphy just gave you the money, and you're like, we're back in it.
That's
Randall, we're back.
funny.
Randall, we're back. Randall.
Randall, we're back.
Thing a woman can do is forgive. I'm going to do it in the voice next
I
time.
love it.
Val and I
Please.
You want to do a third one?
Let's do it.
Here we go. Sent in by Bill Latourette. I'm sorry, Biff Latourette.
Biff Latourette.
Biff
Changes things.
Latourette.
Yes.
Bill Latourette would have been ridiculous.
BIFFLATOURETTE.
I want you to shout out his last name. I just want you to shout it out quickly.
Latourette.
Okay, continue.
I get it. An Alabama man.
Okay, like involuntarily?
Yes, involuntarily. That was better.
That was bad.
No, I liked it.
I liked yours.
I knew we were all going to make a Tourette's
Involuntary.
joke
I
at some
know.
point.
An Alabama man allegedly beat his roommate after discovering
I was hoping for at checkers. Why has it got to be a violent thing?
after discovering that the victim had failed to properly seal a box of Cap'n Crunch cereal, which had gone stale.
Thanks for saying captain. He's
Yeah.
not a captain.
No,
He
he's
is a
not a
captain.
captain. He is a
He is a captain. Don't upgrade his status just because you're not in know.
I just have 3 words to say. Check the epaulets.
It's General Mills. It's Cap'n Crunch.
Yeah, exactly.
Always keep them below the manufacturer.
If you're fighting,
That did work extremely
Very
well.
funny.
That was
That's
strange.
great.
I love
if you're fighting with your roommate over stale cereal, you're fighting over a lot of other things.
Oh yeah,
It's not about cereal.
something. It's
That's
like
the
Chinese
beginning.
water torture. Something has been nagging you all goddamn day.
That's
Maybe
right.
a nose that whistles on the exhale.
Right. A soup slurper.
A soup slurper.
Just a
Oh.
loud breather, a mouth breather.
Every time
all of
you
it.
come home, you have different working shifts. There's a bowl on the coffee table.
This is
Peanut butter on the spoon.
Oh
There-
God,
there are
you're
things
making
that
me
my-
want to beat him.
Okay, there are things that my kids do. Like I'll just find shoes everywhere. I'm like, that's not where the shoes
Yeah.
go.
No.
I
Yeah.
don't want to be tripping over you. If I
Why
see-
must it look like the rapture in here?
Yeah, exactly.
That you were taken up mid-run.
Oh, I didn't realize you guys were following the Mayan calendar. That this is all happening now.
Dwayne Barry Smith was
Yeah. arrested Friday for
His
domestic
middle name
violence.
is Barry?
Yeah.
Oops, all crunch berries.
Frankenberry.
Frankenberry Smith.
DBS.
Dibs.
Was arrested Friday for domestic violence following a confrontation with the man he shares a residence with in Moundville, a town outside Tuscaloosa.
Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
According to police, the victim said that Smith became upset upon discovering the stale cereal and blamed him for failing to keep the Cap'n Crunch fresh.
You said Cap'n Cunt?
I did.
Cunch.
I did, but we'll edit it out.
Like the filthy talk of
Captain Cunch.
Yeah. Ugh.
I hate when people use that word in a sexy
Dwayne-
way. It happens in The Departed where he goes, "It was never hard for me to get cunt." I was like, "Yeah!"
Like I bought the rat on the railing more than I bought.
I prefer the rat on the railing. First viewing. How did you know it was coming?
I was like,
you're at the premiere.
Oh God!
Nobody-
the person who knew that.
Yeah, he knew.
was in the middle.
No,
of the
like he kills him in the room. Sorry, I'm spoiler alert. Kills.
It's Wahlberg.
Yeah.
Wahlberg kills Matt Damon, and you're like, yay! Then rat. Boo.
But then I've spent time thinking about it. I'm like, is it good? I mean,
The Departed?
Yeah,
that moment.
Oh, no.
By the way, there's a lot of good in that movie. There's a lot
yes.
of
I
good
love
in
that
that
movie.
There's a lot of good in that movie.
Alec Baldwin.
The rat on the railing.
It's
Takes
not
it
a good
away.
movie. Somebody had to pull him. Do you think they did one take without the rat?
Yes.
Of course.
think so?
Yes. I'm sure they were like.
And they
kill-
tested it.
Yes.
That rat on the railing shows you how much people didn't want to contradict
Scorsese.
Skorsky.
Would you like that Scorsese?
Would you like it?
Scorsese.
So we're gonna do the rat on the. Yep. Are we really like? Like people are like, do we really?
Because we don't have to.
We don't have to.
Why don't we do one without?
Yeah.
And then we'll do one with, and then we'll see, knowing like the editor's like, I'm going to show him the one without, and let's see if he notices.
Yeah, but
Let's see
Marty
if
gets
know
cut.
he did it.
Marty gets cut. I wonder if that's like a jargon in like studio notes. Like,
Get
I
him-
think this is our.
the editor's like, this is just the assembly, but I love it. Like, that's what the editor kept saying. Like, I love it. It's just the assembly.
Right.
But he left it out, or she left it
we
out.
really- they left
I
it
mean,
out.
to me, that would be my phrase from here on out when we're going to do something that's obvious.
rat on the railing.
Are we going
If
to
you
put the
wanna-
rat on the railing on this one or what?
That is, it's like Jump the Shark.
Yeah, we're putting the rat on the railing.
I don't want to be a rat on the railing here, but it's better than Jump
But we
the
need
Shark.
some rain here in Los Angeles. Am I right?
Jump the Shark isn't it's cumbersome in the mouth. Rat on a
Rat on a
railing
railing.
comes out like a sneeze. It's effortless.
Rat on a railing sounds like a Grateful Dead lyric from like 1970. Rat on a railing, dog on a limb.
Dwayne Barry Smith was especially pissed because he is missing teeth and had difficulty consuming the stale cereal.
Okay, so now we're into medical reasons.
At one point, Dwayne Barry Smith
I'm now on his side.
Dwayne Barry Smith demanded that his roommate remove his dentures so he could experience how hard it was to consume the Cap'n Crunch. So
I hear that.
These are old guys who are living together. Like, we know that now about these
This
people.
is like a
Dentures are here.
straight up cane fight.
If you're still
Or
eating
meth heads.
Cap'n Crunch
Meth fight.
in your
You're right.
late 70s,
Yeah.
No, but this might be
Something went
30s.
wrong.
This might be 30s meth
like-
fight.
Like this
Southern
might be
meth
30s
fight.
dentures. It is Tuscaloosa.
part of me wants it to be young people.
So,
part of me doesn't.
Which of these two guys voted for Doug Jones? That's what I want to know.
Which of these two guys voted?
This guy should be drinking smoothies.
So Dwayne Barry Smith gets pissed because he's missing teeth, so it hurts to chew stale cereal.
So he says, "You take your dentures out of your mouth and you experience what
Which
it
you
feels
expect?
like."
The guy who already didn't care about your goddamn cereal is going to be like, "Yeah, all right, let me completely empathize with you."
yeah.
I mean,
But
I heard that he didn't have teeth, and my first thought was close the damn box.
Right.
You know what I mean?
sure.
I'm just saying, like, close it up.
When the
you
man
know?
refused, Dwayne Barry Smith allegedly began striking the victim with an electrical cord. That's when you grab whatever's near.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Jason
get
Bourne
beat-
right there.
Also, talk about like a flaccid weapon. Like
Yeah,
that thing,
just-
you want to come hard, and then it.
It's a whip with a yeah. Why aren't there more?
Indiana Jones with an extension cord would have worked fine.
Totally would have worked
Completely.
fine.
I'll plug this in. Also, Cap'n Crunch, a terrible choice for somebody with a sensitive and mouth.
Absolutely.
What was your second choice? Grape nuts?
Yeah,
Dude, move to the flake-based
Kicks.
cereals.
Tricks.
Kicks and Tricks would have helped you out.
Oh my God. It's been
Kicks and Tricks themselves are like tiny balls of fiberglass. Like those aren't good.
I've insulated my third floor with Kicks.
It's been so many years since I had cereal.
Silly Pete. Kicks are for
You're
like,
off it.
Dig into a big bowl. Oh, I used to eat it by like the mixing bowl.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
God,
My
I
kids
loved it.
eat Lucky Charms once in a while. We give them Lucky Charms as
Oh,
like a,
ta-tree.
and they just pick out all the charms and then they won't eat the other cereal. So I
But that's a
pour
frosted
milk in.
Cheerio right
but
there.
I'm like, you just are eating. No, it's like marshmallow and it's like pure sugar.
You can do all mallow. You know they have that.
What?
Like Lucky
All
Charms,
marshmallows?
just the marshmallows.
Oh, God.
No.
Yes.
Where?
What-
In a
what
It's a
step-
special
Japanese
order.
vending
You can like
machine?
special order on the
What
internet.
stepdad buys
Came up
that
with that
for their
one,
kids? Yeah.
They're gonna like me, Diane.
You have your time with them, and we have what we call lucky time.
Don't harsh the mellow.
Your mom's a no-leaf clover.
Let's end it here. How old is Dwayne Barry Smith?
Okay, so now this could be
His-
misleading.
wait,
I had a
his
talk
roommate-
show on DBS.
Yeah.
His roommate could His roommate could be
TBS.
super old.
His roommate could be super old, and he could be old. Their
If,
dentures.
if he's old and he's saying, you take your teeth out. Oh, you won't? Give me that 3-prong.
Can I see that
Okay,
extension cord
beating
really quick?
someone
Can I
with
borrow
it-
your extension cord for a second?
If he did it calmly, that's
Yeah,
even
excuse me.
funnier.
Where's that? Just even searching for it. Where's the?
What are you looking for? We're out of cereal. If you want more cereal, we don't have more cereal.
The extension. No,
yeah.
the extension cord, so I can beat your ass with it.
Oh!
It's in the pantry.
Beating someone with an extension cord to me
That's like
is
prison
that's
shit.
a Scorsese 1979.
It's when you don't like it.
Yeah.
You'd rather it be a machete or
Yeah.
something.
Come on, man. Hit me. Stop hitting me with that.
I bet it hurts.
I bet it hurts
Yeah.
really bad, especially the plug at the end or the
Prongs.
thing at the
Yeah.
prongs or the thing. All right, so he beats him with
It's a
thing.
crime of passion.
All right, so do you want to go first, second, or third on this?
How
when you're
old is
guessing
Dwayne
how
Barry
old?
I've always gone first, so I'm going to go third.
Okay,
Ooh,
great.
okay.
Jake, go ahead.
I think he's 36.
36 years
Yes,
old, missing
meth.
some teeth,
I
living
just
with
saw
an
a
old
special.
guy.
I just saw a special on meth in the South on this meth town. It was on, I guess, Netflix or I'm not sure.
Methflix.
Oh no,
Methflix.
That was on HBO.
So addicting.
I pointed at Pete like he's HBO. It was on you. It was on HBO.
I do have a feed of HBO on my
right.
back.
Okay, he does.
Like those
So,
T-shirts you buy at
Meth
kiosks.
Town, and it was down. Love it. And it was down in Alabama. So I think he's 36 years old.
I
36,
think
Randy.
this guy is 61.
61
Yep.
years old.
Is your guess so low that it's racist? Towards Alabama.
Towards white people, yes.
So it's fine.
Yes,
It's
yes,
fine.
yes.
So I 60. To me, this feels like the fight that Robert Durst had with, you know what I mean, with the guy when they wrestled with the thing.
You're lucky you didn't end up in bags.
That's right.
Floating.
Thank God my head was found.
Yes.
Still okay. So I say 61.
61. Wow. I'm going to 38?
36.
36. I'm going to say...
Sometimes it's bad to have more knowledge. You know
I'm
what I mean?
gonna
Like
say this man is 29.
God, that's so bold. I love it.
Dwayne Barry Smith, who solves problems with an electrical cord because he's a jerk and doesn't like stale Cap'n Crunch, is, play along at home, everybody, 52 years old.
52.
barely, by the way, barely. Yeah,
Barely.
52. But he probably looks like he's 71.
52 in meth years is 71.
That is right.
you know.
As mentioned before,
Meth-chinned.
as we just mentioned, we mentioned Robert Durst, and a lot of people don't know, but we have a pipeline to Robert Durst.
He
here.
sometimes calls into the show.
Sometimes calls in this show, and he somehow finds out before an episode is released.
That's what money gives you. That's what money
allows you to listen in and hear that we are talking about him, and then he sometimes wants to comment on it. So as mentioned, and we mentioned him before. We mentioned him just now. We mentioned him on the show, and he has this crazy sixth sense. I don't know if you watch The Jinx.
Oh, sure,
but
he did. He knew who Robert
Yeah,
Durst
of course.
was.
The Jinx. He is kind of. He
I
knows.
love that you said, I don't know if you watched it, and he did like a detail about putting things in trash
bags, floating bags.
He knew it.
I don't know if you. Well, maybe he just read the transcripts.
No.
Okay, so maybe he just followed Durst, but Durst kind of knows what's going on before it's about to happen. He's had an eerie sense about him,
Yes.
and so he actually found out that we were talking about him literally 2 minutes ago, and he is
Here.
at the studio right now.
Whoa.
So, Dan, if you could get up and
Let him in.
let Robert Durst in for a quick second.
Hi, boys.
Hey, Bob. Yep, you can stay.
Fellow HBO star.
No, I don't want to be known like
Do you
that.
want to be roped in with him? You
Couple
don't.
of guys
No.
going around New York.
No.
No, stop.
It's
No, no.
left us.
No.
Pete did not murder his
I
ex-wife.
didn't murder anybody.
Who does?
You did.
Pete isn't even killing on stage in the show.
I know.
I'm not killing anyone.
I know. Well,
You were mic'd in the bathroom.
Who hasn't been mic'd?
A lot of people haven't been mic'd in a
You
bathroom.
admitted that you did a murder.
Your wife left you. My wife left
No, that's
She
not
didn't
the
leave
same.
you. She disappeared. His wife is still findable.
She left just like Pete and I are very similar.
No, you guys are not
at all.
at all.
I can't stress
Pete,
that enough. You murdered your roommate?
Pete knows
Or
how to
your
properly
apartment
spell the
mate?
word Beverly.
I know how to write Beverly.
That was self-defense.
No.
And then he told me if he ever forced me to kill him, he wanted his remains. He
To
might
be-
have meant ashes. I
No.
took it as chunks.
No.
Thrown in
Oh.
the Galveston.
You thought he meant
Beach.
chunks?
I mean, it's more, you could see where he goes. then.
No, you don't
Wait,
want
you meant to float the bags like fucked up goldfish from the carnival?
Yeah.
No, who knows who does anything?
Speaking of chunks, are you going to go see our poop doc, which opens this weekend and Pete's in it?
Who's in
Or
it?
last weekend, it's already up. Pete
I'm
Holmes is in
glad
it.
to be in it.
I should tell
No,
you.
you're not.
You're not in it. It's already
You're
out.
not in it.
Pete knows from running the circuit of promoting a show
Yeah.
that you're very busy. I'm looking for season 2
Of the Jinx?
of the Jinx.
Are you planning on murdering more people?
No, but I
Yeah,
would
okay.
like
Yours
Pete-
is a docu-series.
Yes.
It's different.
Season 2 doesn't.
Look at my wardrobe. You think
Okay.
that was a documentary?
Yeah.
That's high-level production.
Okay, fine.
Those weren't
There was
even
the
my
wardrobe.
sweaters.
Okay, fine. All right. So you're gonna
Say
point
there's
to
wardrobe.
Look, all I'm saying is there's a season 2.
Look at my wardrobe.
There's
he
a season
says.
2 as long as Douglas is still alive. That's all I'm gonna say.
That's why I'm here. Pete, you're around. I've seen on the show.
He's
you're
in New
barking,
York.
Your
Yeah.
paper, you're
Yes.
asking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you see Douglas,
You're
would
gonna-
you be willing to text me and
No.
say, "Here's where Douglas
Pete,
is"?
do
You
not
don't want to
do
be
it.
an
Pete,
accessory.
No,
do it.
no,
Pete,
definitely I
not.
won't text you. I
Yeah,
don't want
don't tell him where Douglas
Pete,
is.
do you have a brother?
I don't want to talk about my family with you. I don't want you to know.
If you wanted your brother to not bother you anymore,
Stop it.
hypothetically.
Brother doesn't bother it.
Pete gets it. His show
I don't get it.
He does not get it.
Our shows are different. Mine is a comedy. It's half
Mine
hour.
was
It's
hilarious.
scripted.
Yours
It's not
is not
hilarious.
funny.
You didn't think I was funny walking around the city with a backpack like a lost 9-year-old, and then I couldn't get into a building I owned.
Okay, that is kind of
That is
similar. to
funny.
Tracking.
That
It
That's
was
was kinda
similar
funny.
to Dunstan Checks In.
No,
when
no,
they wanted
no, it's
him
not.
out, but
No.
they couldn't get him
It's
out.
not Dunstan.
It's a buddy comedy.
No,
really.
it's not. It's
Can we
too chopped
please
up.
show
Right,
Robert
go.
Durst the door
Yeah,
here?
Dan.
That's fine. I get my mic off.
Okay, your mic is off.
Wait, what was your name again? Robert Durst. Jinx.
Buy me a Coke.
Oh, he's
You
not
owe me a
laughing.
Coke.
So we're gonna let him get out of here.
All right,
So
get
go
outta
ahead. Go ahead.
Try and jinx me. I'll get him for that.
No.
Oh no!
We can still hear you. You can still. Everyone can still. You're literally saying it on mic. You just said. Try to jinx me. I'll get him back.
I like a jinx. Like one good jinx deserves
No,
another.
get out of here.
Get him out.
That was a threat. Again, you left and you forgot that you're still Mike.
That's it.
He knows what a threat is.
We can still hear everything.
Robert,
Stop.
we hear everything you're saying.
Okay,
Robert.
all right. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Thank
Mommy.
you.
Bye, mommy. Okay. All right. Let's get Dan back in it. Jesus.
Hey, guys.
Oh, my
Lord,
God, Dan.
all right.
Thank
I
God.
could have
Okay.
used one more him threatening me. That was hilarious. That was
The
the
show
funniest
is
thing ever.
crashing. It's on HBO, and I want you guys to watch all of it. The movie is called Poop Talk, and Pete Holmes is fantastic in
It's
it.
in theaters now, and VOD, which stands for Video on Demand. Pete and I learned today.
iTunes, Amazon, all that stuff. Support us, support this, and watch Pete Holmes be great in this
And
movie.
iTunes stands for Internet Tunes.
Yes, it does.
I did not know
Yes,
that.
it does. And oh shit, we got to get back to work.
It's a good show.